Hey guys, today we're going to run you through the process of replacing the carpet on boat trailer bunks. As you can see here, this trailer has some damage. The exposed materials of your bunk, whether it's wood or a heavy duty plastic, can damage the bottom of your boat. So you want to make sure that your carpet is in good condition. The first step in this process is removing the old carpet. To start, we're going to pull all the staples out using a flathead screwdriver to get them loose and then a pair of pliers to pull them out. I'm going to start on the back of the bunk and work my way forward. So let's get to it. So this process here can get a little bit dirty. I'd suggest having a mat on your garage floor. The floor here is pretty clean. So I'm just going to start by looking underneath, looking for staples, and start slowly picking my way at them with the screwdriver. All right, so I've worked my way to the end of the board here. I'm down to my last staples. This part of the process is pretty strenuous, getting through all these staples, but we're about wrapped up on this one bunk here. After we get this old carpet off, next, lay down our new carpet and get an idea of where we need to cut on that new carpet so that way we get a piece that fits this board here. So now that I've cleaned up my work area, I'm gonna inspect this board and make sure that there's no rot or any signs of damage to it. Now is the time to replace it if we did find that. But running up and down this board, looking at it, it looks like this board is good to go. So we're gonna continue using this one. So now it's time to lay down our new carpeting. To start, I have the original laid down beside me here. I sprawled that out so that way I can get the dimensions of that carpet. This is the factory cut, so I want to copy that exactly. This carpet fully encased this board next to me, which is important for protection of the board over time. So the original cut was 11¼ inches wide. The new section that I have is 15¼ inches wide, so I have to cut this to size. Being lined up with the parallel line as well as this adjacent cut here, I know that my cut is going to be square on this end. So I just like to get a knee down on the carpet here, get it nice and solid in place. And I'm just going to follow this garage floor cut here, so that way I know I get a straight line cut all the way through this carpet. So I've cut my new piece to length, now I need to cut it to width. The original is 11¼ inches wide. The new piece that I have here is 15¼ inches wide. So to start, I'm going to make a series of marks with a gray marker down the entire length of my new piece here, and then I'm going to use this straight edge to make a full line so that way I can make a clean cut all the way down the new piece. So like we did with our end cut, I'm going to take this line and line it up with the cut in the concrete and then make my cut all the way down the carpet. So it's important when doing this to start with new blades. This stuff can be pretty tough, so it helps with cutting this. Sometimes it'll take multiple cuts to get through, and then I'll slowly start to work my way down. And a little quick tip for you, sometimes this stuff can be pretty tough to cut with the utility knife. It comes in a lot of different sizes and materials, and this one here actually is getting tough with the utility knife. But I always like to keep a scissors nearby so that way in case I do run into some tougher stuff like this, I'm set. So I'm gonna get going on this with the scissors. With our new carpet cut to size, I like to mark the top ends of the carpet to ensure we have enough to fold over the ends. By marking 2½ inches from the ends of the new piece, I'll have about 1 inch of carpet on the underside of the bunk to fully wrap and staple the ends. So now that we have the ends of the 2x4 marked on our carpet, we need to measure out where the bracket is. So we're going to start with the measuring tape here, put that on our end here, and see where this first edge of the bracket is. That's about 10½. I'm just going to write that right on top of this board here so that way I don't forget. Mark our other end of the bracket, and that's about 12⅛. Put that one right there, and I'm going to jump down to the other end to get those measurements too. So now that we have those measurements, I'm going to come back to my carpet here and mark where those go. It's important to remember here that these marks represent the end of the 2x4, so I don't want to go to the end of the carpet. I want to go to these marks here, and then I'm just going to lay those quick marks. Looking back at the top of the board, those marks are going to be at 10½, and then another one at 12⅛. I'm going to do that on both sides since that bracket reaches across to both sides of the board. So now we're going to make the final markings to where we have to put a notch to go around the bracket. These are going to be 2 inches right by my markings, so that way I have this good notch. That way my carpet will smoothly fold around the brackets. So we've made our notches. Now it's time to use your utility knife or your scissors to cut out these notches. In this case, I'm going to use the scissors. So we've laid our carpet down on the bunk, and I want to start by getting a couple staples here up on the bottom side. So I'm going to start down here, fold this over, put one up into there, move over here, and another one there. So that way This carpet is nice and steady now, and I can work my way down towards the front of the board. I should have mentioned this earlier. The carpet has a top and a bottom side. You want to make sure that that top side, that finished looking side, is on top of the board. So now that we've put some anchoring staples on the end, we're going to work our way up the board. What I like to do is keep my hand and run it down this carpet to get that carpet nice and tight. Not stretching it, but make sure that it's tight so that way there's no bubbling or loose parts. I'm going to take that, wrap it up around the bracket here. Again, nice and tight. Reach up under there, and I'm going to put one staple in there just to get that side set, and then I'm going to come back over to the other side and do the same thing. So now I'm going to go underneath and staple through both of the overlap pieces of carpet so that way I can fully secure the carpet to the bunk. And to wrap this project up, we're just going to fold and staple up the ends. So one thing with the ends that I like to do is not cut notches to try and make this a perfect fold. When you cut these edges, it opens up that carpet a little bit, and that puts you at risk of potential future tearing further down, and that could damage your boat. So I like to keep everything intact at the ends here and just make neat folds and then staple everything, and then you're done.